Everyone in Ocean Ton knew that mob boss Jared Pierce was deeply in love with me. No one feared my disappearance more than he did. Even if bullets were raining down on him, he'd still find a way to contact me, just to make sure I felt safe. But on the night before our wedding, he didn't come home. When he finally returned, he dropped to his knees, a bruised and weakened woman cradled in his arms. Rosalia, Melody took the drug just to save me. I can't just watch her die. So I had no choice but to sleep with her. Terrified that I wouldn't forgive him, Jared drew 6 wounds into his arm. Blood soaked through his shirt in an instant. As soon as the wedding banquet ended, I heard his men chuckling and teasing. The boss didn't even take off his wedding outfit before rushing to see Melody. Just how seductive is his lover? Jared's low, sultry voice followed. Last time I stayed with her, I didn't come back for 3 days and nights. Take a guess. In shock and despair, I called out the system. I want to leave this world. The system's cold voice replied. After your exit, this world will erase all traces of your existence. Counting down. 7 days. Chapter 1. When I came back to my senses, Jared Pierce was hurrying toward me with his men. Rosalia, there's an emergency in Ocean Ton. We need to head over right now. He pulled me into his arms and gave a gentle kiss to my forehead. Baby, I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you when I get back. I wiped the spot where his lips had touched, my face impassive. That same mouth had kissed Melody more times than I could count. Seeing this, Jared froze, panic flickering across his face. He gripped my hand tightly. Rosalia, are you angry at me? I know it's our wedding night, and I shouldn't be leaving, but this is urgent. I don't really have much of a choice. As I looked at the man I had loved for 7 years, I suddenly felt like I didn't know him at all. One moment, he was lost in memories with another woman. The next moment, he could put on a show that he was deeply in love with me. Jared, let's get a divorce. Jared froze at my words. He stared at me, pain in his eyes. You're still upset about Melody, aren't you? She took a bullet for me once, and this time, she was poisoned with that kind of drug just to save me. Shouldn't I help her? We agreed to let the past go, right? It's our wedding day. Though his tone was meek, every word defended Melody. I almost laughed. So, he was aware that today was our wedding? And yet, how dare he? Rushing off to see his lover on the very first day of our marriage. I couldn't stop the ache from gripping my heart. My body started to tremble. Just then, Jared received a message. He glanced at it and gulped. Something flickered in his eyes. After years with him, I recognized that look. It happened whenever he got aroused. He pulled his gaze back, patted my back gently, and said softly, all right, stop making a fuss. I promise I'll make it up to you when I'm back. Then, he turned and left. The chill in my heart slowly spread, leaving me rooted to the spot for a long time. It wasn't until my phone rang that I snapped out of it. It was a picture from Melody. When I opened it, my blood ran cold. It was her pregnancy test report. Rosalia, I'm sorry. I'm carrying Jared's child. Please let us be together. My hands shook uncontrollably. In the 3rd year since I came into this world, I dove into the freezing ocean to save Jared. That injured my womb so badly that I could never have children ever again. Chapter 2. Jared once told me he'd love me forever, even if we never had children. He'd even gone so far as to get a vasectomy to ease my worries. But now, he was having a child with someone else. Before switching off my phone, I sent her a simple response. All right. The next morning, Jared returned. Trailing behind him were Melody with swollen red eyes, as well as several of his men. As soon as she saw me, Melody dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. Rosalia, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have sent you that message. Jared said I can only keep my baby if you agree to it. Please, I'm begging you, let me keep my baby. As she spoke, she banged her head against the floor, and soon blood was trickling from her temple. Jared glanced at her, his eyes full of distress, but in order to get my consent, he held himself back from helping her. One of his men stepped forward first and pulled Melody to her feet. Perhaps he was clearly fed up with how Jared usually treated me, so he said sharply, even if you're going to get upset, I'm going to say something fair. Melody once took a bullet for him. It's not too much for her to keep the baby for that alone, is it? And since you can't have children, I think our boss should give her and the baby a proper place in this family. Shut up. Jared's angry roar cut him off. I told you, Rosalia will always be my only wife. As for Melody, I'll find a way to make it up to her. Then, he showed me the scars on his body. The man who was usually so cold and full of pride dropped to his knees, pleading softly to me. Rosalia, I've already atoned with my own body. Melody can't bear losing the baby, so please, let the baby live. You can't have children, so when the baby is born, I'll have the baby call you mom. You'll be the baby's mother from then on. His words were a blade stabbing my heart deep, twisting it. All the words I could have said came down to just one word. All right. After all, in 6 days, I would be gone from this world forever. Nothing else mattered anymore. Hearing me relent, Jared let out a sigh of relief and turned to Melody, joy in his eyes. I turned to leave, but he stopped me. He took a blanket and draped it over my shoulders, gently brushing back the stray hair with my ear. Why are you wearing so little? You'll catch a cold. For a moment, he looked like the man who used to have only eyes on me. However, his next words sent me plummeting into the icy abyss. Rosalia, Melody's pregnancy left her quite weak. Let's give her the master bedroom. I stared at him in disbelief. He wanted another woman to move into our marital room, the climate-controlled bedroom he had designed just for me. He avoided my eyes, sounding guilty as he added, don't worry. Once she has the baby, I'll send her away. I gave up completely and lowered my gaze. All right. Jared kissed my forehead. I knew you'd understand. Then he went to Melody's side, warming her hands before scooping her into his arms and carrying her into the master bedroom. My fingers were ice cold, my body trembling uncontrollably. I didn't know how long I lay in bed, half asleep, half awake. Suddenly, someone yanked me up from the bed with brutal force. Chapter 3. Jared's eyes were red. Like a madman, he demanded, where did you hide Melody? I stared at him in confusion, but before I could speak, his hand clamped around my throat. Rosalia, have I spoiled you so much over the years that you think you can do whatever you want? That you won't even spare a life? I couldn't breathe. Only when I was on the brink of suffocation did he finally loosen his grip. Gasping for air, I looked at him helplessly. I didn't do anything. His anger only deepened. If you didn't do it, then who? I was only gone for a moment, and it was just the two of you at home. Why is Melody the one missing? You pretended to be someone considerate, but in reality, you're just jealous that she's carrying my child. Rosalia, when did you become so spiteful? I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. They started rolling down my cheeks uncontrollably. Something flickered in Jared's eyes. He used to hate seeing me cry. He was about to reach out to comfort me when his phone rang. After listening to the voice on the other end, his eyes turned even colder. Hanging up, he yanked me forward. You're so good at playing the victim. I almost believed you. If anything happens to Melody or the baby today, I'll never forgive you. I didn't even have my shoes on as he dragged me away. On the stairs, I tripped and fell, my knee slamming hard against the step corners. The sharp pain made me cry out, but Jared Jared acted like he didn't notice, still gripping my wrist and pulling me along. By the time I was shoved into the car, my legs were a bloody, mangled mess. The car sped down the highway. Aside from the time I had been injured saving him, I had never seen him so frantic. Soon, we reached a small island. A few of his men rushed over. Boss, Melody is right over there. Following their gaze, I saw Melody hanging unconscious from a rusty iron frame, bound with rope. I've already checked. The kidnappers ran off just before you arrived, they added, looking at me with unreadable expressions. Melody was quickly freed. She clutched her belly weakly and looked up at Jared. Jared, I knew you'd come for me. Then she turned her teary eyes toward me. Rosalia, if you really can't accept me, I can leave. But why must you hurt my baby? I shook my head wildly. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. Before I could finish, Jared's palm struck my face hard. He scooped Melody into his arms and looked down at me, high and mighty. Rosalia, you've gone too far this time. Stay here and think about what you've done. With that, he carried Melody away. Over his shoulder, she shot me a smug look. The sea breeze held at me, chilling me to the bone. The island was completely desolate. Being left here was a death sentence. Just then, a familiar voice echoed in my head. 5 days until you exit this world. A bitter smile touched my lips. Maybe this was for the best. I was going to disappear anyway. Slipping away quietly like this might just be easier. I didn't know how much time had passed. Just as I was on the brink of death, Jared appeared. He cupped my face with a look of deep concern. Rosalia, what am I supposed to do with you? I gazed at him weakly, yet no matter how I looked, I couldn't read him at all. Chapter 4. The system's voice rang out again. 2 days left until you leave this world. I let out a bitter smile. I had no strength left, and my vision went black. When I woke again, Jared was sitting by my side, holding my hand gently. Rosalia, you're finally awake. This was just a small lesson. As long as you know what you did was wrong, that will be enough. No matter what, the one I love will always be you. No, I didn't do anything wrong. Pulled all over, I trembled as I tried to pull away from him, only to realize my feet were trapped by something. Pulling back the blanket, I froze. Heavy iron chains were locked around my ankles, making it nearly impossible to move. Jared's voice turned icy. I know you won't admit your mistake so easily, so you'll stay in this room until Melody has the baby. Then, I'll let you out. 3 days without food, combined with all the pent-up emotions I had been holding back, a rush of metallic taste surged up my throat as I coughed out a mouthful of blood from my mouth. Jared rushed forward, panicked, pulling me into his arms. Rosalia, what's wrong? Just then, Melody stepped inside, one hand on her belly as large beads of sweat rolled down her face. Jared, my stomach hurts so much. Jared immediately abandoned me, scooping Melody into his arms. She turned her head to glance at me, her voice dripping with false concern. But Rosalia, don't bother with her. Jared cut her off before she could finish. She's just putting on an act. If it weren't for her, you wouldn't be having these cramps. I watched them leave and closed my eyes in despair. In Jared's eyes, all my pain was fake, while every tear Melody shed was genuine. The system's voice came again. 1 day left until you leave this world. Before you leave, the system will grant you one wish. My voice was weak, but steady. System, I want Jared to know the whole truth. I wanted to see his reaction when he finally learned everything. The system's voice was mechanical and emotionless. Acknowledged. Truth revelation program initiated. Suddenly, hurried footsteps sounded outside the door. I tried to sit up, but my body was too weak, and I fell back onto the bed. The door slammed open. Jared stormed in, his face twisted with rage. He slapped me hard across the face. Twice. Melody lost the baby. Rosalia, this is all your fault. Are you happy now? Jared growled. I knew no matter what I said, Jared wouldn't believe me. Explaining would be pointless. So, I let out an icy chuckle. Whatever. My indifference only made him angrier. He yanked me out of bed, the heavy chains clanging violently against the floor. Pain shot up my ankles, and I couldn't help but cry out in pain. But he didn't stop. You're going to kneel, beg, repent, and apologize to Melody until she wakes up. By the time he finished speaking, I was already at Melody's bedside. Her eyes fluttered open,